I became a mother. I became a mother. What I did not want became the only thing that mattered. My son is literally the only thing that really matters. And that was one reason why I did everything in my power to not go back to the kind of life that I used to live. I mean, I was never really a bad person, okay? Smoked one cannabis here and there, you know, had my own share of this and that. Was never been an addict of anything, never. But just knowing that I was responsible for something growing inside of me. I actually quit smoking before I became pregnant. But being pregnant was actually a motivation to live a cleaner life. All I think about is, what if my son needs blood today and I'm rushed to a hospital? And because of I smoked one split, or because I drank too much alcohol, I cannot give him blood. And that's the reason why, God forbid, he might not make it. You know, I worry a lot about my son because I love him so much. Yes, he might have not been in my plan, but he was in God's plan, and God put him where he was supposed to be. So I have no regrets for my son. And about the drug allegation, these are all of my documents. You see, this is from George Memorial Medical Center. This is one of the biggest maternity hospital in Lagos here. It's actually in Lekki Phase 1. It's highly recommended by the Indians, the Americans, and the European doctors. This is a clearance for me to travel out of the country. Before you get this clearance as a pregnant woman traveling, you would have to have a toxicology test and every other test so that you don't put the hospital here in trouble. Because if you leave Nigeria and go outside the country and they know that there's a substance in your body, it's not necessarily you. They will find your hospital here and seize their license. So this is a clearance that I was okay to travel and give birth. This is a toxicology report from the biggest hospital in Abuja. This was actually done 2016, just after I gave birth. This is actually the hospital that Muhammad Buhari's first son, when he had a bike accident, this is the hospital that he stayed in, and this is the hospital that I did my test in. If you look closely, it's a toxicology report. All the reports there say is negative. No doctor is going to cover up for me this much. This is an authentic document that can be traced back to the hospital. This is the second toxicology report when I was accused. December 2016, when I was accused by my son's father that I was on drugs and that's why my marriage was ending. He said that because he wanted to divert the whole attention of what he is and what he did. This is the toxicology report. On there, I don't know if you can see it, it says all negative. I'm sure it will come up on the screen. Now, this is the hospital I gave birth to in Houston, Texas. It's called West Houston. And this is all their report. This test, they run all of this tests on you once you come in as a patient till you give birth, until after you give birth. It contains toxicology report, it contains any other sickness you've had, it contains anything that you hide in your body, it just contains everything. Now, America is not Nigeria, right? If you give birth and you are on drugs, they will take your baby because that baby, my child is not Nigerian. I mean, he has a Nigerian passport, but he's American. They will take him away from me. I would not be allowed to come near that boy until I rehabilitate myself. There was no issue like that. This is a toxicology report from one of the biggest and the best maternity hospital in Houston, in America actually, West Houston Medical Center. So yes, all of the reports about drugs was all a lie. My son's father wanted to use the drug allegation to mess or to hide all of the things, all of the domestic violence. Because when the story of us breaking up came out, it didn't come out as domestic violence first. I'd never told anybody about that. It came out as somehow the bloggers got to know about him cheating with his staff his staff in his office, and also to the actress. So that was how everything blew up. So because of they wanted to hide that shame, they said, you know what, let's go for something that the world will believe that Tonto does. Let's go for something that the world will believe that, oh, she can do or is believable. Because even in court, like I have my court papers here, I am granted custody of my son. And there was no debate whatsoever from his lawyers or himself. Now I'm thinking, right, if I have a wife that is a drug addict, I would fight her in court just to take my son away from her. I would fight her so that she would not be around my son. Just like I think that he is a spirit, as in he's diabolic. And that's why I presented my case to the court. And that's why they said, you are not allowed to come near your son if your wife does not put someone close to you that she alone can trust. So he has very strict supervised visitation on my son. That's because I was able to prove how diabolic he is in court. And he never mentioned anything about, oh, she's on drugs, let's take the child. In fact, he even told the court, give her custody of the boy. So, no drugs. No drugs hide in your body. Every drug, even cannabis, when you smoke cannabis, it stays in your body for 3 whole months. No doctor can take it off away. No medication, no detox can take it away from your system. They will catch you. It is real. None here. Never on drugs, darling. Yes, I gave the court substantial amount of proof. I'm just going to show you just a little bit of one. Of some things I would wake up and find under my pillow, under my son's bed, on top of my son's novel. This is a conversation between myself and my son's father's younger brother, when I was saying that they need to come and take this shit out of my home because I've left him now. I've divorced him already. So I said they need to come and break whatever curse is on this shit. And I gave the court, yes, the court actually does not admit diabolism, but the strength of my accusation make them worry for concern about my child, because it's a boy's life. If I can speak and I can talk, and this is all they did to me, I would wake up. His mother was we were married for. He said we were married that we lived together for 6 months, but we lived together for 10 months after marriage, because I came back from America 2 months after I gave birth, February. 2 months was February, March, April, and I divorced him, and I left his house by December. So that's 9-10 months, right? So he said it was 6 months. I don't know where his head was though, but he said it was 6 months, and I'm saying it was 9-10 months that we lived together. And in that 9 to 10 months, his mother was there maybe like 5 times, and she would stay for like maybe 2 weeks. It's okay. Family is okay. I did not worry about that. My concern was the spiritual artifact that this woman would bring into the house all the time. That was only the time when I became defensive or I became disrespectful to any member of his family when it came to that, because I always spoke up. I never kept quiet about it. I always spoke up. So we always had fights about it. I also have documents of him telling me how he wants to go back. I'm sure all of those things will come up on this thing. How he wants to, how he was going to borrow money from me so he can go and do some jazz. I have all the documents here. Because he has a daughter already who he says that he doesn't have. He came out and said that he has no child apart from Sking. This man has a child, and the mother of this child is jealously protecting the girl not to even be close to them, because we all know, for one, I got married to him, so I know who he is. Churchill is a very selfish, manipulative person. This is a man that would insult his own mother, call her all sorts of names, treat her as though she was a scum, or reply her. He's a terrible person, so to speak. He's a very terrible person. And the only thing he cares about, and that's why anytime we fought, anytime he hit me and he beat me, I would always go to his jazz drawer, I would break his jazz, or I would go to his clothes where he has his designers. I would break them, or I would break his laptop, because I know that was the only thing that affected him. And I can remember clearly, he said it in his interview the first time, we still with the same Azuka. And I also have documents of me telling Azuka, there's a document here. I said, Azuka, I said, I'm born again, and I would not lie that I never broke properties. Anytime I was beaten, my revenge was to go back and break everything. So yes, I broke properties. I destroyed properties. He can do anything to anybody because he wants to be rich. There's actually something, I'm not going to say, I will wait to be pushed. I will wait to be pushed. There is something I saw between him and his mother. But I will wait, Churchill, to be pushed. I have said it once in a message. It was there. Maybe people will forget about it. But I will wait to be pushed. Now, 41919, Yahoo. You know, you go online, you dupe white women, you go online, you dupe people. That's what my son's father does. I'm not proud of it. I'm saying, I told you, I said this interview is mainly not for Nigerians. I want my son to grow. I'm not the kind of mother that's going to hide things from her son. No, my son would know everything and the whole truth. I'm not going to lie to him, but then I'm not going to hide things from him. So yes, my son's father is a fraud. He does Yahoo. How I know? Because I caught him in the middle of a red candle with laptop in his lap and a red pants on and a red cloth tied around his waist. Not just that. I mean, coming from the house we stayed in when I was married to him, this man told everybody that he bought the house. He didn't buy this house. This house was rented. This approved that it was rented. This approve of conversation between me and the agent when the agent did not do something right in the house. I told him how much we paid for rent. Everything is there. I told him how much he paid for rent, and this is a conversation of the landlord himself. This is a conversation from the landlord himself. He said, look at it. This here is from the landlord. So, different things. I know he's 419 because I know he's 419. It's on the streets. Go to Ghana and ask about him. He says he's into IT. Please, what has he done? What is the IT? Let me know. What IT work has this man done? Why would you buy a car and your name is not on the car? You see how this thing about the fraud money? You see, I've led him to know a few things. When they cannot bring in money into Nigeria from fraud, they buy cars. So it is very easy for you to say a Yahoo boy has cars. But it is very hard for you to say a Yahoo boy has properties, and that's one thing that was his problem. When he's out of money for so long, Yahoo does not pay for so long, immediately the Yahoo pays, he wants to buy clothes, he wants to buy this, he forgets to invest. Even the house in Ghana that this man told me, lied to me, that he owns the house in Ghana. Now this is a message. This is a message between I and the agent. The agent came to my page on Instagram to embarrass the life out of me. Called me a very dirty woman. Called me how useless and how stupid and how disgusting I and my ex-husband was. I only got to read it and read it and read it. This is the agent who rented the house this man lied that he bought in Ghana. The man even told me in this message, he said, your son's clothes are lying down everywhere. I didn't know that my son's father had taken his property and ran away from the home. I didn't know that. So they were asking him they were actually asking me that we should come and pay for the balance of whatever rent, and also we should come and clean up and arrange and put together their home back how they gave it to us. I also, and on this, I gave the man his mother's phone number. I said, call this phone number. But I bet you the woman would tell you she does not know the boy. but that is his mother. That's the message. He came back and said, I called the number. It was a London number because the mother stays in London. It was a London number. I gave him the correct number for his mother. His mother said she does not know a Churchill, and off the phone. 2 days later, that phone went off because I had already casted the number online. So people were already calling the number. 2 days later, they changed the phone. This is his mother in on the same scam. The first time I met them, the mother told me she's Obasanjo's wife. It's a scam. He told me he's Obasanjo's son. It's a scam. Anyway. He was a librarian for Obasanjo. His father, God bless his soul, even if I did not know him, I'm not sure I would have hated him totally. This is his father. This is who his father is. His father was Obasanjo's gardener that graduated into being a spiritual leader. This is his father. This man has never for one day, he always puts Obasanjo on Obasanjo's birthday, happy birthday, daddy. Even the brother, if you go to his page, you will see him and Obasanjo, daddy, I came to see daddy. Not for one day have they ever posted this man's picture because they want to keep scamming people that they're Obasanjo's son. This is his father. No relationship with Obasanjo. If this man had a relationship with Obasanjo, I would be the happiest girl on earth. Because it's a name that my son will inherit and work on to be a better person in life. This is his father. When I went for the first time, I knew that he was not. I had always suspected because I was the one spending. I told you, I said, why we met, he was broke. He started having money after I left to go and give birth. That's when his first Yahoo ever money came, when I know him. That's the first time I ever knew him with money, because that was when he paid for the, I think it was 8 million, the 60 million naira apartment we stayed in for 2 years rent. So that was the first time his money came in. That was the first time, the car was the first time. The car was the first time money came and everything started to happen for him to do. So every other thing, I was the one trying to do it for him. So yes, this is his father. You see the same resemblance. Even my son looks like him somehow. Yes, I did. The first day I was going to be introduced to Obasanjo was I had 2 introductions and 1 traditional wedding. The first introduction was for Obasanjo, the second was for my parents. So the first introduction day, I was already pregnant, I was 3 months pregnant when I met Obasanjo. The first thing I met him, he told me, he's not my son. Pump and plain. The man does not hide his mouth, but he's like my son. I remember when I went back home, I looked at the mother, I looked at the son. I said, why did you lie? What was the lie? You see, they hate me so much for my boldness, that family. Because I called the both of them. I said, why did you lie? As long as there was a relationship, as long as this man can stand in and say he is like a son, why would you ever lie? That was where I stood in to now say, you know what, okay, I would not be the one to break it out. That's why when there was an interview online that when it said, I showed them, they said, is he Obasanjo's son? I said yes. If you see my body language, I was very uncomfortable. And that was a week after I just gave birth to my son. In fact, my mother-in-law was upstairs right there, holding my son, looking down at me when I was doing that interview. God bless this boy. His name is Bode. Bode is Golden Icons. He's the owner of Golden Icons. Golden Icons is an award. And it's a TV too, and that's the TV that recorded me. I said a lot of things in that video. And because Bode wanted to, Bode knows I've had a hard time with the press, with the media, and I just gave birth. He wanted things to be easy for me. So he sent me before he posted it. And I sent it back to the man I was married to that time. And he said, you know what, no, they'll catch us here, we'll move here, we'll move here. You can confirm this from Bode. He is a media person now. Bode is a blogger because he does all this interviews. So he will not cover up for me. There are so many other things I said that would have implicated me, and people that say, oh, ooh, that when I gave it back to my son's father, he said, you know what, let's take it away, let's take this away, let's take it away. And that's how you saw that short video. I was not going to be the one who was going to leak a family secret that they've been using to eat food. Because that's the means they use in eating in Lagos. I am Obasanjo's son. See, one thing I would say I admire about my son's father is how bold he lies. How bold he lies. For the past 5 years, I have never been to London. Never been to London. When I was traveling out of the country, I traveled to BA, going to America. So there's always a stopover. And you don't enter into London. It's a stopover 1 hour, 2 hours, and you go again. You don't enter. So I never entered London. Here again is coming back. Receipt for coming back. We never entered London. Our plane spoiled. And the airline, BA, had to keep us in a hotel inside the airport. I didn't have a visa. For 5 years, I have not had a UK visa. And I met this man only how many years ago? I have never been to London to see his mother. I have never stayed in his house in London. I know that his mother lives in a community house, but I do not know where it is. The woman has never come to stay with me to take care of me. She came to America in fact, she came that day when I gave birth to my son. And I did not allow her to stay in the hospital because I knew what she was going to do. They have this thread that they always want to tie on the thumb of the newborn baby. And they told me they were going to do it. And that's why I told the doctors, I said, I don't want my son sleeping with me the first 2 nights. My son did not sleep with me the first 2 nights. He didn't come to my room the first 2 nights. Because I didn't want the mother close to my son for that. I made sure that she never involved in helping me for my son. I made sure I did everything because I wanted to be closely watching her. Because I knew who she was. So for her son to say that I went to London for the mother to take care of me, Olakunle Churchill, what visa did I use to London? The last time I was in London was the last time I fell on stage, which was back in the days when I started having my drug rage, back in the days, 7 years ago or so. So how and when did I go to London for your mother to take care of me and buy me all the lovely things that she bought for me? The other way around it is, I fed your mother. I gave her my money, hard-earned money. I moved my clothes off my back where she says she loves it and I give it to her, she wear it. And you come and you lie like this? God will vindicate me, and I know it. I am not looking for vindication from you or the world. God will put vindication on all of these things I'm saying, and my son will believe it if nobody believes it. You guys are liars. You're pathetic liars. This is very shameful, but I'm going to do it because I'm all about blood. And when I mean blood, I mean telling the truth. Yes, Olakunle, you said that you had an account, a Zenith account, actually. You said it on Azuka. That you had, and you said it in other interviews too. You said that you have an account, Zenith Bank account, which I'm the signatory to. And being the signatory to the account means that I'm the only one who can withdraw money from it, right? And you also said that in that account, you pay in millions. Now, you also accused me of not taking the account, which, yes, I did not take the account. There was no handover. But when I was handed over the account, this is it. The money that was inside the account was 319,000 naira. Look at it. It shows you that this is the first day that the account was handed over to me. It also shows you that this is the first time that I ever got an alert. So look at it. This also, I'm sure, will be posted online. This is the first time he paid. After the courts, we went to courts in, I think, January, February. I think between February and March. So this was the first time he ever paid anything child support. I wrote it, I said he paid 200,000, 10th of March. March, April, he paid again. He did not pay for April, May, no May. He didn't pay for June, no payment for July. That's 2018. No payment for September, no payment for October, no payment for November, no payment for December 2018. Look at it, no payment from him. No payment from January 2019. No payment February 2019. Then he pays March 2019, a year later. Now, let me tell you why he paid that. There is this blogger online, her name is Cutie Juice. She knows him and have a few of her friends who have been defrauded by him. So she's on his case. So she started to write about his other child and also King, that he doesn't pay child support. So she was on his case for over 2 days. 2 days, which this was March. This is the 8th of March 2019. Look at it. After the blogger called him out severally, embarrassed him, then 2 days later, he paid. And this was where she was rejoicing. This is her page. This is her page where she was rejoicing. Cutie Juice. This is where she was rejoicing. Say, Churchy pays child support amount of 200,000 on this day, 8th of March 2019, after blogger Cutie Juice called him out to show evidence. Because she was calling him out and saying, if you're paying for school fees like you claim you're paying, and you're paying child support, we need proof. She was the only blogger who investigated and who does her investigation right. She called him out and he shamelessly paid him. And that was the only money my son got from his father this year after 1 year of child support payment. Now, he also claims that he pays my child's school fees. Well, for the school fees, this is it. My son goes to one of the best schools in Abuja. I would also like you to please not show my son's school where you're showing this. My son goes to the best school in Abuja. And in the school, once you make a payment, you get a receipt. If you are not the parent that paid, you're not the parent that will get the receipt. Now, my son is only 3 years old, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For a 3-year-old, there should be 6 receipts. If your child starts school the way my child started school, there should be 6 receipts. I have 5 receipts. I don't have the 6th one because that is the only receipt. That's the only payment I did not make, and it was a payment for 350,000 naira for a particular term. That's the only receipt I don't have. Now, after the court, that's to say that all of these receipts here, I paid it myself. If not, I would never have gotten these receipts. And they are original. This is not even photocopy, they're originals. Okay, so after we went to court, I sued him to court for child support and documents of my son, and also paying of school fees. The court asked Kunle to start paying child support. And the first month he paid the first term he paid child support. The second term I was out of the country. The school had already sent, because from how we do it is, since the court says the father should pay the school fees, the school sends the receipt to the father's email, and the father has to reply. Now, this was the second time, after the first time he paid, this was the second time they were sending an email to his page. He did not reply. So they waited until 30 days later. I was outside this country in South Africa, and I got this message. It says, "Good morning, Ma. I hope you had an awesome night. Please, Ma, this is to inform you that your son is the only child in school that is yet to pay his school fees. We strongly advise that you should pay. We strongly advise that you should pay." And that's it. This is how my son's father embarrassed my son. This is how he reduced my son. For them to call him out. Me, Tonto Dikeh, I pay school fees for people I don't know. I pay school fees for over 4,000 people for my foundation. I pay child support for over 10 women I don't know, single mothers on Instagram. I pay debts for people. I buy gifts for people. Even one iPhone, one of the iPhones that I give out is not even compared to the amount for the school fees, and this man could not pay it. I had to leave South Africa and I ran to Nigeria and I paid this bill. That was when I took this to my lawyer, and Festus Kiyamo is my lawyer. I took it to my lawyer, and my lawyer says, you know what, Tonto, you have to keep embarrassing your son because we need all of this proof for court. So now, every time I have to wait to get this notification, so that I would tell the court that I got this notification, it was embarrassing, and I had to pay the school fees. If they say, why did you pay the school fees yourself? Because it was not. So this is how my son lives and operates. The school is there. I would leave phone numbers, and it can be traced. This is also a DM. My son's school is on DM. When the day that the day that he was saying that he pays school fees, when there was this blogger who came online. He sponsored the blog and came online and said he was paying school fees. When he said that, my son's school sent me this. This is a DM. They said, it is well, we know the truth. This is what my son's school sent to me. If I was not the one paying the school fees, if I was lying, why would my son's school support me? Why would I have all of these documents? Kunle, I know you have just one. So my son is 3 years old, and he didn't go to school just once. Look at all the times when I had to pay for school fees. And you tell the world that you are paying for the school fees? How are you paying for the school fees? How?